Welcome to bout number 6 here at Mayday Mayhem in Loveland, Colorado. I am Helen Carnate. I am here with
Screamin' Mimi.
Screamin' Mimi, and we are ready to rock in the bracket here that's going to be playing for first place. This bout is between the Sioux City Roller Dames and FoCo Girls Gone Derby. Their team is the Micro Bruisers. FoCo hailing locally from Fort Collins, Colorado. Sioux City from Sioux City, Iowa. Let's do a quick run through of the rosters here before we get started. For Sioux City, we have number Rough and Tough. Number 18, Canuck You Up. Number 2, Little Pacifist. Number 5, T Vicious. Number 6, PBR. Number 7, Dubs. Number 79, Guillotina. Number 8, Eat Schmidt. And number 80, Mo Payne. 21 seconds to go. I'm going to have to speak faster. For FoCo, we have number 187, Double Destruction. Number 214, Husker Hustler. Number 314, Battley Portman. Number 45, Mary Poppin' Caps. Number 4, TH, Misery Business. Number 50, The Original Skankster. Number 511, Sugar Smacks. Number 69, Skater Baiter. Number 8008, Princess of Wales. And we'll finish up after this jam.
Mo Payne for the Sioux City Roller Dames is our lead jammer. 98 pounds of steel is the jammer for FoCo. Down goes T Vicious into the inside, coming back around. Mo Payne to the penalty box. 98 pounds of steel fighting her way through each mitts and Canuck You Up. Canuck You Up has to leave her alone, out of play.
In the box, so it's going to be a 2-minute jam, and it's going to be a power jam.
Power jam for 98 pounds of steel, be the full 2 minutes. 98 pounds of steel makes it through for 5 points.
98 pounds of steel out there.
Mo Payne back from the penalty box.
That was a huge hit on 98 pounds of steel from Mo Payne on her way out of the box.
Giving her a little trouble. Mo Payne goes through blue and around for 4 points. 98 pounds of steel still working through the Sioux City blockers. Each Schmitz takes her out. Mo Payne comes back around.
Great job recycling there by FoCo.
Big hit on the Original Skankster by Dubs from Sioux City. Mo Payne coming around again for 5 points.
Sioux City now jumping ahead in the point totals, 9-5. Although 4 more points for 98 pounds of steels brings them even, 9 apiece on the board for each team. Now, their path to get to this point, Sioux City had to take out both Ark Valley and West Texas to make it to the first place bracket. FoCo Girls Gone Derby has played against Happy Valley and Oklahoma City to make it here this afternoon.
77 is in the box for Sioux City. PBR is the Sioux City jammer, as is
Misery Business.
Misery Business for FoCo. PBR makes it through the pack. 2 points. Misery Business is right on her tail. PBR calls off the jam as she comes into the Original Skankster.
So PBR picking up 2 points on that pass. In the last games that I've seen from Sioux City, PBR proving she is a very powerful double threat. She's a ferocious blocker, and she's also an excellent jammer, using that strength to just power through lines against all of the teams they've competed against. So our score stands right now at 9 points for FoCo Derby. FoCo Girls Gone Derby, in the blue. Sioux City Rollers in the black with 11 points.
Mo Payne is the lead jammer for the Sioux City Roller Dames. Coming along through, 2 points for that. And the FoCo jammer is 98 pounds of steel. Coming on around. Mo Payne is up through. Calls off the jam as she runs into Sugar Smacks.
1 point for FoCo in that jam. 2 for Sioux City. That's going to tweak things up to 10 points on the board for FoCo, 13 for Sioux City. We're going to line it up and do it all over again. Now, Mo Payne been an absolutely astounding jammer so far at Mayday Mayhem. She scored 111 points in their game against Arc Valley this morning, 221 points against West Texas yesterday morning.
PBR is our jammer for the Sioux City Roller Dames this time around, as is for FoCo jammer Ms. Erie Business. Ms. Erie Business working her way through Sioux City as PBR has one to beat to be our lead jammer, Mary Poppincaps.
Nice hustle on that jam by the FoCo defense. They were able to get back and hold PBR long enough so that 98 pounds of steel could sneak ahead, forcing the call off from Fort Collins. Don't forget, if you're enjoying your coverage on ColoradoSports.TV here today, scroll down to the bottom right of your screen and click on the donate button. Any little bit you can contribute to our coverage here helps defray the cost of covering 42, I believe, is the number of amazing derby bouts on 2 tracks here at Mayday Mayhem.
Mo Payne and Booty Tang are the jammers this time around. Both jammers trying to make it through the wall of blockers. Mo Payne sent out of bounds, coming back around, and she ends up as our lead jammer. Booty Tang still working her way through the Sioux City Roller Dames. She gets past Dubs, and each Schmidt sends her to the inside. Mo Payne's coming around again. Dubs is sent to the penalty box. Booty Tang getting recycled by each Schmidt. So Dubs is sent to the box for a cut the track.
Each Schmidt in all of these games has proven to be a very strong blocker for Sioux City. Repeatedly, just with these monster hits on the both the jammers and the blockers from the opposing team, whoever they happen to be playing.
Mo Payne comes around for another 5 points. Booty Tang still working her way through Sioux City. Gets around each Schmitz and out. Dubs comes back from the penalty box as she's helping Mo Payne get through. Mo Payne calls off the jam.
2 additional points on that pass for Mo Payne. That's going to bring her up to 12 for that jam. Score update for our folks at home. 10 points on the board for FoCo, 25 for Sioux City. This jam has been brought to you by Sticker Giant, the custom sticker experts, the official sticker company of ColoradoSports.TV. You can check them out at www.stickergiant.com. Use the code ROLLERDERBY, that's all caps ROLLERDERBY, at checkout and get 10% off your order. So we are on an official timeout right now. Rankings difference between these two teams is pretty substantial. FoCo Girls Gone Derby currently sitting at number 151 in the WFTDA. Sioux City coming into this ranked number 99 in the WFTDA. They are the second highest ranked team here playing on the women's side at Mayday Mayhem. The only team that outranks in the tier is Junction City, sitting 3 spots above them at 96.
Play continues as PBR is the jammer for Sioux City this time around, and 98 pounds of steel for FoCo. PBR coming around as the lead jammer for this jam, coming back into the back of the pack, making her way through as 98 pounds of steel still working on her initial run through the pack, and she makes it through. 5 points for PBR coming around through the pack.
PBR was able to find a wide open outside line on that pass, and she knew it as she came through with a big grin on her face.
PBR comes halfway through and calls off the jam.
A score update, 10 points on the board for FoCo, 28 points now for Sioux City. We're going to line things up and do it all over again. I see number 5, T. Vicious on the line for, not on the line, but blocking, as well as E. Schmidt. So they have been a dangerous pair on the track as blockers in all of these games so far. Very, very heavy hitters for Sioux City.
We've got Mo Payne is our jammer for Sioux City and Misery Business for FoCo. Dubs being sent to the penalty box for Sioux City. She will join the FoCo skater. Mo Payne putting a little hit on Misery Business. And she's sent to the box. Nope, she calls off the jam.
All right, and it looks like Glenmore wins. They are number 1 in the pool, and Uinta will be number 2 on the men's side of things. So the Glenmore Reservoir Dog won their game. They are now number 1 in the pool. Uinta Madness will be number 2 on the men's side.
PBR jamming for the Sioux City Roller Dames and Skater Bader, the first time for her jamming in this game. Making it through the pack, we've got Husker Hustler going to the box. PBR is our lead jammer.
She had a big jump there. I can't really call it an apex jump because she jumped it on the straightaway, but right over the inside line to get out front.
PBR picks up 5 points on that pass. Skater Bader get knocked out and recycled around. She'll come around to the back of the pack. E. Schmidt's taking her back. PBR making her way through the pack once again for 5 points.
17 points now in this jam so far for PBR. She's just able to plow through the FoCo defense.
Skater Bader making her way through the pack and coming around. PBR 1 more to beat. And she's got to let her go. You Be Nice had to let her go to not get a penalty. 4 points for PBR through that pass. PBR right behind Skater Bader. Canuck You Up ends up out of bounds, has to be recycled, as does Skater Bader.
So
PBR comes back around. Skater Bader trying to get through Canuck You Up and eat Schmitz. 4 points for PBR. She makes it quickly through the pack. Skater Bader ends up on the ground in the infield, and the jam is called off.
So 4 points on the board for FoCo. A huge, huge jam for Sioux City there and PBR. Score now stands 14 points for FoCo, 49 for Sioux City. PBR now jumping ahead of Mo Payne in the point totals. Interesting thing about Sioux City, they've only put out 2 jammers so far. We are 8 jams in, and Sioux City seems content to just cycle back and forth through PBR and Mo Payne. They're typical jammers from the previous bouts, Canuck You Up and Little Pacifist, being saved for later.
Mo Payne and 98 Pounds of Steel are jammers for this time around. Both jammers working their way through the pack. 98 Pounds of Steel pushing the Canadian. Having a tough time. Both skaters are having a tough time getting through the pack of this round. 98 Pounds of Steel makes it through first, being our lead jammer. Mo Payne is right behind her, getting through Sugar Smacks. 98 Pounds of Steel coming around again. Cutting the track is called on Dubs as she makes her way to the penalty box.
A well-timed call off there by 98 Pounds of Steel, picking up 3 points for FoCo, calling it off. Great jammer awareness there by Fort Collins. So the winner of this bout is going to go on to play the winner of Slaughterhouse versus Nidaros from Norway, from Trondheim, Norway. Very exciting to have them here. They're going to play that tomorrow at 5:30.
PBR and Misery are jammers. Misery making it through the inside. She's going to be our lead jammer. PBR hits the floor but gets up quickly. She's got 3 blockers to beat. As Misery is coming around into the wall of black. PBR makes it through her initial pass. Misery makes it through and calls off the jam.
4 points for Fort Collins in that jam. That brings them up to 21 points on the board, 49 for Sioux City here with about 16 minutes and 18 seconds to play in this first half. As a reminder, Sioux City in the teal and black, Sioux City in the black and white, FoCo in the teal and black.
Mopane and Pootie Tang are on the jammer line. Mopane fighting through. She's got 2 to beat. Husker Hustler giving her a little trouble, but Mopane comes out ahead of the pack, making her our lead jammer. Pootie Tang is right on her tail.
That was great footwork by Mopane to stay in bounds there. One couple of inches either way, and that could have been a track cut.
Mopane comes on through and calls off the jam. She gets 3 points on that one.
That inches our score up to 21 points for FoCo, 52 for Sioux City. Great defense in that jam, I have to say, by FoCo. I saw some magnificent waterfalls at the front of that pack, trying to hold the jammer back there.
We've got PBR and Double Destruction. That's Double Destruction's first time this game as a jammer.
So FoCo now going 5 jammers deep in their rotation.
We've got the FoCo jammer. Double Destruction is our lead jammer. PBR makes it through the pack as well. Coming back around, speeding up the pack. T-Vicious gets knocked to the middle.
2 points for FoCo in that jam. That's going to tick them up to 23 to 52 for Sioux City with 14 minutes and 13 seconds left to play in this first period of the first bout of the first place bracket. So this is the beginning of all things, if you will. So Sioux City versus FoCo, again, they are going to be playing the winner of the Slaughterhouse versus Nidaros bout that will be happening this afternoon here in Loveland.
98 pounds of steel and Mopane on the jammer line. Mopane gets past Husker Hustler and is our lead jammer. 98 pounds of steel gets recycled. .98 pounds of steel is making her way. She made her way through the pack. Mopane hanging out and calling off the jam.
She stops, she's taking a look around the track, seeing what's going on, saying, oh, okay, 4 points. All right, rock on. 23 the score for FoCo, 56 for Sioux City. Mopane, though, I have to say, you know, this being the third bout that I've been able to watch her footwork is magnificent. And I think that's a big part of how she's been able to rack up so many points. I did the math. I know math is hard on a Saturday morning. 332 points in the previous 2 games. That is a monster number.
It is a monster number. PBR and Misery are jammers. Both trying to fight through the inside. PBR gets recycled back and is called for a cut track. Didn't quite recycle far enough, so off she goes to the penalty box. Misery gets through the pack and is our lead jammer.
This is a great opportunity for FoCo to rack up some points with Mopane, a dangerous jammer, in the box. Misery Business going to do everything she can to work past those unbelievably solid Sioux City blockers.
Down goes Misery and Dubs. Big hit by T-Vicious to the inside, and then T-Vicious gets hit as well.
I think I felt that one from here.
Yeah, that hurt. Clockwise block.
That's number 511 for FoCo. Sugar Smacks being sent to the box for a clockwise. 4 points in that jam for FoCo and Misery Business. Our score sits now 27 points for FoCo, 56 for Sioux City. We've got 11 minutes and 25 seconds left on the clock.
2 blockers in the box for FoCo. And we've got Mo-Pain and Booty Tang.
So still, after 14 jams, Sioux City's still sticking just to their 2 jammer rotation.
Mo-Pain finding her way through that 2 blockers of FoCo. She gets out to be our lead jammer. T-Vicious is recycling Booty Tang. Still looking for her initial pass through the pack. Mo-Pain sneaks through the inside for 5 points. Booty Tang is making her way. She made her initial pass. Sugar Smacks coming back from the penalty box, as is Dubs and the other FoCo skater as well. Just in time to call off the jam.
Nice hustle by Booty Tang. They're forcing the call off from Mo-Pain, holding her to only 5 points. 29 now for FoCo, 65 for Sioux City. What would you say the most impressive thing that you've seen from FoCo so far has been?
The most impressive thing from FoCo, I would say, would be Booty Tang.
Booty Tang. That was an excellent jam. Great hustle there again by Booty Tang, catching up and forcing Mo-Pain to call it off.
We've got PBR and 98 pounds of steel on the jam line. Both girls fighting their way through the pack. 98 pounds of steel out to the inside. But PBR makes it through the pack first, which makes her our lead jammer.
.98 pounds of steel working her way through the pack. She's going to get recycled to the inside.
PBR comes around the pack, 5 points on that pass. 98 pounds of steel working her way through T-Vicious and Dubs. PBR comes around again for 5 points. There we go, 98 pounds of steel making her way through the pack.
We're now looking at a 10-point jam for Sioux City.
PBR calls off the jam. Takes a little spill there on the outside as she calls off the jam.
Well timed by PBR. She's able to pick up one more for a total of 11 in that jam. That's going to bring our score 29 for FoCo, 76 for Sioux City. 8 minutes and 30 seconds left to play.
Next up, we've got Misery Business for FoCo.
Misery Business back on the line. She is jammer number 6 for FoCo.
Mo-Pain is the jammer for Sioux City. Mo-Pain jumps to the front of the pack, makes her our lead jammer. Misery Business right on her tail. Coming around to the back of the pack. Mo-Pain calls off the jam.
And you could see Fort Collins there really pick up the speed as they came into the straightaway. They were making Sioux City work for every inch of that track.
PBR and Booty Tang are next two jammers.
We have Booty Tang skating for FoCo against PBR for Sioux City.
Booty Tang tries the inside, juking around through. PBR trying to get through on the outside.
I think T Vicious and each Schmidt have gone the entire lap almost backwards.
Yeah. PBR makes it through the pack first, gives us the lead jammer status. Pootie Tang is chasing her tail. PBR comes through and calls off the jam before Pootie Tang can make any points on that jam.
PBR picking up 3 of her own on that. That brings her total up to 40 points so far in this bout. PBR and Mopane keeping things pretty even so far. In the previous bouts that I've watched, Mopane has really run away with the point totals, but PBR sitting at 40, Mopane with 39, so keeping things nice and even. Mopane has a little bit of an edge with a 67% lead jammer percentage.
Mopane is the jammer for Sioux City this time around, and PB and Bam is the first-time jammer for FoCo, who comes out of the pack first and is our lead jammer. Mopane comes around right on her tail. Very fast pack on that one. PB and Bam calling off the jam before Mopane gets through.
PB and Bam picking up 2 points. That's going to edge FoCo up to 31 here. A little more than 5 minutes to play. Sioux City sitting at 79. This is absolutely 100% not insurmountable for FoCo. As we've seen in previous bouts here at Mayday Mayhem, and we know about Derby, 48-point difference is really not a whole heck of a lot. You think that's 2 big power jams, and we could be drawing pretty much even here.
PBR and Misery Business are jammers. Both girls in the middle of the pack. PBR's got 1 blocker to beat, now 2. Sugar Smacks. And Misery Business makes her way through first. She is our lead jammer, but PBR is right on her tail.
Now this floor is starting to look pretty darn slick here as we make it partway into our second day here at Mayday Mayhem. I can definitely see the jammers starting to lose it a little bit on the corners as they go around.
Misery Business calls off the jam. 1 point for Misery Business. No points for PBR.
1 point is still 1 point. That's going to edge FoCo up to 32. Sioux City holding steady at 79. And we see now we've got FoCo visiting the long abandoned pivot line. Well, hello, pivot line. How's it going?
Can knock you up, bridging for Sioux City. We've got Mopane and Double Destruction. Mopane breaks through as our lead jammer. Double Destruction going up against Dubs and T Vicious. Dubs sends Double Destruction to the inside.
Pushes her down, but not out. So Double Destruction able to get up and keep chugging, and chug she does.
FoCo does have 1 blocker in the penalty box. Mopane comes around for 4 points. T Vicious and Each Schmitz working on Double Destruction, who gets around for 4 points. Mopane's coming around and calls off the jam for another 4 points.
So a net gain of 4 points here for Sioux City. Mopane sitting at 47 points now. So that brings our score 36 points for the folks at home. For FoCo Girls Gone Derby in the teal. 87 points for Sioux City Roller Dames in the black. We have 2 minutes and 45 seconds left on the play clock here in period 1 with FoCo Girls Gone Derby versus the Sioux City Roller Dames. Now that Slaughterhouse versus Nidaros game that I mentioned is actually happening right now on track 2.
PB and Bam and PBR are jammers. Dubs recycles PB and Bam, but she sends She's sent off to the box for a forearms penalty. PBR makes it through as our lead jammer. PB and Bam coming around fast and furious. Back into the back of the pack is PBR making her way through the FoCo girls, and she calls off the jam.
PBR pretty much stymied by a nice four-wall there from Fort Collins. Fort Collins able to hold, to really cut down the damage from bouts that we've seen in the past from Sioux City. Sioux City, again, coming in as a very powerful team. They were actually last year's Mayday Mayhem champions, weren't they?
Yes, they were. That were coming in a little short this year, though. They came with 9 girls.
And that says to me, I mean, this Sioux City team has so much endurance, and we'll talk about that a little bit more next jam.
Mopane and Double Destruction are jammers. Mopane working her way through the inside and earns lead jammer status. Double Destruction still working her way through the black jerseys. Passing up T Vicious, and on her way around, Mopane coming back through the back of the pack. Trying to get through the FoCo pack. Mopane calls off the jam.
Now that was a little turnabout is fair play for T Vicious, because I have watched her repeatedly lay out the jammer, and to see Double Destruction come through and dish it right back was fantastic. Score update for you at home. 36 points for FoCo, 91 now for Sioux City. FoCo doing a great job really holding back this Sioux City offense that has been so powerful so far. Mopane and PBR continuing to be the only 2 jammers on the track.
PBR and PB and Bam blockers this time around. PB and Bam getting recycled from the inside.
It's the battle of the PBs.
It is. PBR wins it this time as our lead jammer. PB and Bam still coming through, and she fights through to the front of the pack as the not lead jammer. PBR skates her way through the inside and calls off the jam after getting 4 points. No points for PB and Bam.
And so that brings us down to halftime here in Loveland. We're going to be back in about 15 minutes. Your score before we leave you, 36 points for FoCo, 91 for Sioux City. We'll be back here in about 15 minutes.
91 as we enter the half. We got a 15-minute break coming up. Once again, if you have lost.
Sticker Giant helps people make great stickers. I'm John Fisher, and I started the company. Every sticker has a story behind it. Every sticker has something behind it besides just stickiness.
People seem to flock towards stickers no matter what they are all about.
It's a portable billboard. It can go anywhere.
Seeing stickers on little girls' foreheads.
Cars, motorcycles.
Stop signs, we don't endorse that.
Baby bottoms.
I see stickers everywhere. I see stickers in my dreams.
We're a small little group of people, and we all kind of have the same vision for success.
Every person is quality minded, top to bottom. We're about getting the job done right.
The quality of Sticker Giant stickers is really fantastic. We run 3 different materials here. All of them were researched to find the best possible thing we can get.
We can get your email and process your stickers in 24 hours and get them out to you.
We try and do things quickly, we try and do them accurately, and we try and get people the stickers that they want. People ask me what I do, and they go, we make stickers all day. There's this company in rural Boulder County, and all they do is make stickers and labels. What makes Sticker Giant a great sticker? What the customer wants, because we can print any kind of sticker. Every day there's a sticker to where I see it, and I just want to know the story behind it. I want to know the company. I want to talk to the owner.
We take people's passions, things that they're really fired up about. We make it over and over and over so those people can tell their story to the world.
All right, we are back here for period number 2 of the FoCo Girls Gone Derby from Fort Collins, Colorado, against the Sioux City Roller Dames of Sioux City, Iowa, here at Mayday Mayhem in Loveland, Colorado.
Starting the second half off, we've got Mo Payne and 98 pounds of steel. Mo Payne quickly making it through the pack. 98 pounds of steel still working her way through the outside of the track. Mo Payne comes around to the back of the pack as 98 pounds of steel still working her way through the wall of the Sioux City blockers. Mo Payne through the inside of the track gives her 5 points as our lead jammer. 98 pounds of steel still in the middle of the pack on her initial pass. Mo Payne comes around to the back on the outside, working past the original Skankster. Pushing through the middle of the pack and to the outside. You Be Nice giving her a little trouble, as is Husker Hustler. And Mo Payne is called for a block to the back and sent to the penalty box, which means 98 pounds of steel has made it through the pack and she is on a power jam.
Now, You Be Nice has been one of the standout blockers so far in this jam for Fort Collins. She has been a machine, rushing up and chasing after both Mo Payne and the other Sioux City blockers to make a hole for 98 pounds of steel. 98 pounds of steel still pushing against, I think that might be Dubs. Dubs has been a ferocious blocker for Sioux City so far. "98 pounds of steel through on the outside." That's 5 points for Fort Collins, answering Mo Payne's 5 points from early on. Mo Payne back into the action now. And that is the 2-minute mark. 3 more points on the board for Sioux City. That's going to bring them up to 8 for this jam. 5 for 98 pounds of steel and Fort Collins. Our score check-in, 27 minutes and 45 seconds, if I could talk this afternoon. 41 points for Fort Collins, 103 for Sioux City. We are going to line up and do it all over again. Number 4, TH, Misery Business, lining up for Fort Collins. Number 6, PBR, a huge double threat for Sioux City with the star for the ladies in black. Misery Business through on the outside, trying to take the inside, but T Vicious says, nope, nuh-uh, not gonna happen. PBR still stymied by the FoCo defense. She is held back in the pack by number 5'11", Sugar Smacks. And Misery Business gonna sneak out in front. She picks up lead jammer for Fort Collins. PBR has to be let go. Number 8008, Princess of Wales, reaches the edge of that engagement zone, has to say, all right, I let you go. So PBR is through. Misery Business calling it off. She's going to pick up 2 points for Fort Collins. That's going to edge them up to 43 to 103 for Sioux City. So a 60-point differential here. Looking at our stats, we've got Sioux City with a 59, roughly a 60% lead jammer percentage. Fort Collins struggling a little bit, sitting at 40% of the time. They've been out and got lead 10 of our jams so far, of the 27 jams out on the track now. Number I8, PB and Bam, jamming for FoCo. Number 80, Mo Payne, back at it again, twisting and turning on the outside. Hit to the inside by number 314, Badley Portman, but not quite knocked out of bounds. So Mo Payne picks up lead jammer for Sioux City. PB and Bam out about half a lap back from Mo Payne. She loses her footing on the super slick, polished concrete track here. Mo Payne calls it off. 4 points on the board, well timed by Sioux City. No points for Fort Collins. That's going to keep our score at 43-107. 25 minutes to play here at Mayday Mayhem.
BBR and Double Destruction are on the line for this jam. FoCo skating with 2 blockers and 2 blockers in the penalty box. BBR makes her way through the inside. Sugar Smacks making it tough for her, and then Mary Poppencap sends her to the inside.
Mary Poppencap's also being sent to the penalty box for that move. I did not see the call on that, but that enables PBR to pick up lead jammer for Sioux City.
Double Destruction, it gets through and brings her way around. PBR through the inside, swinging past Sugar Smacks.
FoCo starting to have a little bit of penalty trouble here as things progress. They had 2 in the box and 1 in queue there for a moment. They're left with 1 stranded, so it's going to be a slight Sioux City pack advantage here as we have
team timeout.
A team timeout for Fort Collins. So, Mimi, you're from Sioux City. Tell me a little bit about these 2 jammers, PBR and Mo Payne. I mean, they are doing an awful lot of heavy lifting here for Sioux City, but we've seen other jammers out for them before, and I hear there are other strong jammers for the team that weren't able to make the trip.
Yeah, we had a few people that just couldn't make the trip. It kept coming and coming, and so we're here with 9, and they're skating their hearts out. Canuck You Up and Little Pacifist are also jammers for the Sioux City Roller Dames, who have worked it this morning. There was more of a 4 rotation. PBR is actually more of a blocker most of the time, but of course she's very versatile for those Sioux City Roller Dames. You tell her what she needs to do and she'll do it.
And I just saw Canuck You Up actually skating out as a blocker for Sioux City in this jam. So Sioux City with a lot of double threat players out there, making for a very powerful team. I mean, they even coming in with 9 skaters, they could have a good shot at taking this home again for a second year in a row.
Canuck You Up is our Sioux City Canadian. Mo Payne and Misery Business are the jammers this time around. Mo Payne has 1 to beat, knocks her out of bounds, and she is our lead jammer. Misery Business trying to get through each Schmitz and Dubs, and she does through the outside, and around she comes. Mo Payne in the back of the pack right now. Woo. Calls off the jam as Misery Business gets bumped into the middle of the track.
2 points on the board for Sioux City in that jam. That's going to edge things up. 43 points for FoCo Girls Gone Derby. Again, FoCo in the teal uniforms. 103 points for Sioux City. They are in the black with white accents out there on the track. So we've got about 23 and a half minutes to play. Our jam clock here at the venue going a little bit crazy. It's making my eyes go crazy, but we are off and running.
PBR and PB and Bam are the jammers this time around. PBR tries to get through the middle of the FoCo blockers, gets around Sugar Smacks, and PBR is our lead jammer. But PB and Bam gets through the middle of the pack and is right on PBR's tail.
Once again, PBR winning the battle of the PBs. I love it when these 2 come out to the jammer line together.
Little jammer on jammer action. PBR blocking a little bit and then calls off the jam.
PBR not risking it. No point pickup for either team, though. That's going to leave us at 113 in Sioux City's favor. Arc Valley, or pardon me, I have called way too many bouts this weekend. Fort Collins defense, I have to say, doing a great job holding things back compared to the West Texas bout we saw earlier and the Arc City bout that we saw earlier. They have really been able to do a very effective job of not letting this be a 200 or 250 point game right now.
Yeah. Mopane makes it through the sea of blue and is our lead jammer. FoCo jammer being sent to the box for a multiplayer block.
That is number 98, 98 pounds of steel. So she's normally a jammer, but she's not jamming right now. No helmet cover on her, so she is serving her time as a blocker.
Mopane comes around the track, 5 points on that jam. Dubs has recycled Pootie Tang. Pootie Tang comes around the outside. Mopane gets through the pack for 5 points. Pootie Tang working to the inside. Each Mitts is stopping her. T Vicious trying to get her out on the outside. Comes around through the Canadian and past each Mitts. So she makes it through the pack as well. Mopane is on her way through the pack on the outside. Jammers taking their turns going through the pack. Mopane makes it through for 4 points and calls off the jam.
Skater Baiter out there in front had to let Mopane go. Mopane calls it off anyway. So that was another 4 points for Mopane and Sioux City. 14 points in that jam. That's going to bring things up to 127 to 43 in favor of Sioux City. Clock ticking down to just about 20 minutes to play in the second period here. And again, we're back to the phantom pivot line here with Arc Valley. That is now the second time I've done that. I am so sorry, Fort Collins fans. Fort Collins taking the pivot line, and number 8, Each Schmidt bridging for Sioux City.
PBR makes her way through the outside and then the inside. We also have Misery Business for Fort Collins. Tough.
A huge hit there, and it looks like we are going to whistle this jam dead for injury. But it looks like Misery Business is back up. She is okay. Because the jam was whistled dead, she is going to have to sit out for 3 jams, though. Those are the WFTDA rules. So the fortunate thing is that Fort Collins has an incredibly deep jammer pool. I mean, they have gone 6 jammers in throughout this bout to Sioux City's 2 jammers. They are still, after, let's see if I can do math, 32 jams, still on a 2-jammer rotation. I am blown away by that.
Mopane and PB and Bam are jammers. PB and Bam is not our lead jammer. Mopane gets hit to the inside, so she's being recycled around the back of the Fort Collins blockers.
Nice job by Fort Collins on that.
Mopane is having a tough time getting through that Fort Collins wall, but as she does, she calls off the jam.
PB and Bam, though, forcing her to call it off. 3 points for Fort Collins on that pass. That is a nice 3-0 jam for Fort Collins. That's going to nudge them up to 46 to 127 for Sioux City. Sioux City definitely one of the teams to beat coming into Mayday Mayhem, knowing that they have very strong blockers, very strong jammers, and they came in winning the 2013 Mayday Mayhem. I think every team that's out there probably wants a piece of them.
That's right.
To take home the beautiful crystal trophies that I saw over at the table next to us.
PBR and Double Destruction are our jammers. Double Destruction is called for cutting the track, and she will sit in the penalty box. PBR makes it through the pack as our lead jammer.
PBR giving a big grin to her bench as she skates by. Only a few players left on the Sioux City bench because they have such a short roster. But boy, PBR blockbuster jamming. Another 5 points for Sioux City. A dangerous spot here for Fort Collins with Sioux City on the power jam.
2 of the Fort Collins players on the bench. In the penalty box, PBR makes it through again for a 5-point jam. Both Fort Collins players are standing now. Double Destruction is back in the game. She's coming around to the wall of black. The other FoCo player comes back in as one sits down in the penalty box.
PBR sitting on 15 points now in this jam for Sioux City.
Canuck You Up from Sioux City has been called for a cut the track, so she will join the FoCo player in the penalty box.
So 3 apiece on the track for blockers as PBR comes around for another 5-point pass. That's going to bring them up to 20 now.
FoCo skaters switching places in the penalty box. We only have 2 blockers on the track for FoCo at the moment, but the third one is joining them shortly.
So another 4 points for PBR. PBR starting to catch back up to Mopayne's total. 24 points on the board for Sioux City. 151 now to 46. A little insurance for Sioux City. We've seen some incredibly close bouts here. I personally called one on house that was 2 points separating the two teams. That was a phenomenal bout. So anything can happen. And as we know with the WFTDA rankings, even if you are expected to win, as one would imagine with Sioux City sitting at 99 and FoCo at 151, if you don't score enough points higher than the opposing team, you can still lose ground in the rankings.
Yes, I watched that game as well. That was a screamer to the end.
A screamer to the end. The audience was into it. Now that was West Texas versus Happy Valley. West Texas coming out on top by 2 points. 2 points in an incredibly exciting final jam.
Okay, so we've got Mopayne on the jam line, and she is visited by 98 pounds of steel. Both Sioux City and FoCo only have 2 blockers. Mopayne slides to the outside and gets lead jammer status.
Mopayne is a dangerous jammer to have out on the line when you have a micro pack. She takes an army to hold her back on her own. Down to only have 2 blockers out there, Fort Collins is going to be a tough thing to hold her back.
4 points for Mopayne on that as she calls off the jam.
That was a testament to 98 pounds of steel, though, forcing the call off and holding Mopayne to only 4 points with such a small pack out there. Still, we continue with the penalty trouble for these two teams. It looks like there is going to be a 3-2 pack advantage for Sioux City as we start things off.
Mopayne and PB and Bam on the jammer line.
Pardon me, that is a 3-1 pack advantage. There's one lonely blocker. That's Susie Muffin Crusher all by herself out on the jammer line, and she knows it. She's waving for the fans.
Feeling a little lonely out there.
So we do have an official timeout now. That gives me an opportunity to tell you about RD Nation, a smarter way to derby. They are bringing roller derby to the masses, and they help leagues manage themselves better so they can skate more, which is all I would say any league wants to do. They just want to skate. You can download their free software at rdnation.com.
Free. Free is the free.
Speaking of free is Mopayne out as lead jammer for Sioux City.
PB and Bam makes her way through the pack as well.
Got 2 blockers in the box for FoCo.
Fort Collins still has 2 blockers in the box, and they're being joined by another. Still, now only 1 blocker out there for FoCo. It is the original Skankster.
Susie Muffin Crusher, after being the only one left on the track, takes her turn with a seat in the box for Fort Collins.
Mopayne squeaks through the inside for 5 points on that round.
That 5-point pass was immediately preceded by a 4-point pass, so that's now 9 points for Sioux City.
PB and Bam ends up in the penalty box, so Mopayne comes around with 5 points and in a power jam now. FoCo has another blocker coming to help him out. Mopayne another 5-point pass.
So this is going to be, I feel it. I can feel the vibes. This is going to be a big one for Sioux City, with Mopayne being pretty unstoppable here with so many blockers off the track. Now, some of them have rejoined. We've now actually got a full house on the track. Number 214, Husker Hustler, forcing Mopayne out of bounds. She gets recycled all the way back to turn 4.
Mopayne sneaks through the outside right around Husker Hustler. Coming back around for another 5-point jam.
24 now for Sioux City in this jam. PB and BAM still scoreless for Fort Collins.
Not to be confused with PBR from Sioux City.
Yes, have to be careful.
Tough one. Mo Payne right through the middle and grabs another 5 points.
Battley Portman was going for the chase on that, but she saw the writing on the wall. She saw the little tape stripes on the floor and said, "Nope, I am not going to be able to get out of the get Mo Payne before she gets out of the engagement zone." So that was a 29-point jam for Sioux City. We've got 13 and a half minutes to play in this game. We are on jam number 12. FoCo Girls Gone Derby with 50 points. They are skating in the teal uniforms. Sioux City with 184 points on the board now. They are in the black uniforms with white accents.
Here we go. Little Pacifist is a new jammer for Sioux City. She's up against Misery Business of FoCo. Both jammers working through the wall of blockers. And the FoCo skater makes it through first. Misery Business is around for her initial pass. And Little Pacifist still working her way through the wall of blue. Gets knocked out by a Princess of Wales, who's recycling her back. Misery Business is out by PBR, and she gets a cut the track penalty, so she is on her way to the penalty box. So Little Pacifist is on a power jam.
A point of note, it took 36 jams for Sioux City to put out a third jammer.
Little Pacifist getting a little help from the blockers there, a little shove from T Vicious to get her through. And now she's out of play, so they got to let her go. Little Pacifist through her initial pass through the pack. Coming back around the block, coming around the back. Little Pacifist comes around. She's got one to beat. And she gets around Sugar Smacks. Makes her way around with 5 points to the pack.
Great job by Fort Collins defense holding Little Pacifist back as long as she did. That was an entire penalty kill. They're only picking up one 5-point pass. Now, Misery Business with a 5-point pass of her own. So no net point gain so far for Sioux City despite the power jam.
Misery Business working her way through each Schmitz and T Vicious.
4 points for Fort Collins, one more point for Sioux City means that this is a net point gain for Fort Collins. 9 points to 6, so 3 extra points for Fort Collins. We are going to tick up to 60 on the board for FoCo. 190 for Sioux City. 11:11 left to play, and the clock is stopped. It's just like in Back to the Future. Save the clock tower. Stopped at the wrong time, though. It is not 10:55. It is 11:11. So we are on an official timeout.
Luckily, we have this wonderful NSO here in the middle who's currently signaling official timeout.
So these jammers, let's recap what Fort Collins has done so far. So Fort Collins sitting at 59 points, 18 of those owned by 98 pounds of steel. She's been out 8 times, managed to pick up lead to 2 of those for a 25% lead jammer percentage. Misery Business with the second most points. She's got 11 and a 50% lead jammer percentage. So by far of Fort Collins blockers, jammers, she has been the most effective jammer at getting lead jammer out on the track. That rolling whistle means that we are going to get started here again. Slight time adjustment. We have 11:09 on the clock now. Fort Collins in the teal with 59 points. Sioux City with 190.
Looks like Canuck You Up is jamming for Sioux City the first time in this game, and Pootie Tang out for Fort Collins. Canuck You Up is the first jammer through the pack, so she is our lead jammer. But Pootie Tang is right on her tail, catching up with her as fast as she can. Canuck You Up calls off the jam before anybody can score any points.
Great hustle by Pootie Tang. They're forcing the call off. No point gain. You know, Mimi, I'm pretty sure that Sioux City's bench heard me from over here, and they're just trying to prove me wrong with this jammer rotation, sending in both of their other jammers, Little Pacifist and Canuck You Up, here just to mess with me late in the game.
That very well could be. I know Camel Joe, he would do that in a heartbeat.
I know I'm a loud talker, but I don't think I'm quite that loud.
We've got Mo Payne and PB and Bam on the jam line. Mo Payne takes no time in squeezing her way through the pack to get lead jammer status. PB and Jam is on the way out as well.
You must be hungry.
I am starving.
Because it's PB and Bam, not PB and Jam.
Well, that's what I wish it was right now. Mo Payne gets through the pack for her 4 points, and then she calls off the jam before PB and Bam can rack up any points.
Mo Payne taking what she can get, taking the 4 points for Sioux City, because Fort Collins defense is really stepping up their game and they're really limiting Sioux City to these smaller jams here as we progress in the game. Points now sit at 59 for Fort Collins, 194 for Sioux City. 9 minutes and 20 seconds left to play on the clock for the folks at home.
We've got Canuck You Up and Misery Business on the line. Jammers taking jammers back. Misery Business hit Canuck You Up out. And she's moving her all the way back. A little confusion on the track.
Misery Business trying for the soul crush. Canuck You Up is having none of it. She knows that she is not obligated to skate all the way back to meet Misery Business. So Misery Business finally relents and rushes ahead. Now Misery Business getting recycled back to the jammer line.
Both jammers still making their initial pass through the pack. And Misery Business is the first one out, so she is our lead jammer. Canuck You Up gets hit out of bounds and recycled back by the FoCo skater, but she makes her way through the inside of the track as well. Misery Business through the inside, getting 4 points on that pass. Misery Business coming right up on Canuck You Up, passing her to make that 5th point.
Misery Business in control of scoring now. She's going to take everything she can get as Canuck You Up's a little slow coming around the track from what we've seen from her in the past. So some jammers upset here. Misery Business now going to be taking a seat in the penalty box. That is going to be, the ref's back was to me, so I did not see whether that was an insubordination or a misconduct, but she was very upset about how long it took for the officials to actually blow the 4 whistles. As we know, you can call it off until the day is long, but if the officials do not blow those 4 short whistles, the jam is not over.
Little Pacifist now jamming for the Sioux City Roller Dames in a power jam because that Misery Business is in the penalty box. She's got 2 jammers to beat, and You Be Nice is an out-of-play block, so she will be sent to the penalty box as well. Little Pacifist coming around to score some points for the Sioux City Roller Dames. Get hits down by the original Skankster, who's getting a little assistance there by Husker Hustler.
Nice tandem block there by Fort Collins. Really able to control Little Pacifist well there, but she finally does sneak past.
PBR grabs her jersey and throws her through the blockers for 5 points on that pass.
As we know, totally legal. You can chuck your teammates anywhere you like.
Little Pacifist hit down by the Fort Collins skater, but she ends up in the penalty box for a clockwise block.
Another 5 points on the board for Little Pacifist. That's 10 in that jam. So that makes Sioux City cross the century mark. They're now sitting at 204 to Fort Collins with 66. Now, this late in the game, after Fort Collins already played about today, some of these numbers written in Sharpie on the arms are starting to wear off. So it's very difficult to see from where we're sitting which blocker that is, unless she turns her back so we can see the lovely numbers on her jersey.
Mo-Payne and PB and Bam are jammers. Mo-Payne spends no time in getting through the pack to be our lead jammer. PB and Bam getting knocked out by Eat Schmitz, but Eat Schmitz is being sent to the penalty box, as is a Fort Collins skater who is going to trade places with the Fort Collins skater that is in the box is standing to return to the track.
And that was Princess of Wales for Fort Collins headed to the box. So 1 apiece sitting, 3 each on the track for blockers.
Mo-Payne comes around for 5 points. PB and Bam getting recycled by PBR.
All the PBs, all of them.
They're all out there. Mo-Payne's got 1 skater to beat. Zips around the Fort Collins skater for 5 more points. PB and Bam. PBR has to let PB and Bam go.
So it looks like we had a star pass. Oh, no, excuse me. Not a star pass. I just did not recognize PB and Bam's number. She is I-8. She is still jammer. 4 more points for Sioux City on that pass. So 14 total for Sioux City. That's going to bring them up to 218. We've got 4 minutes and 15 seconds left to play in this game. Fort Collins sitting at 66 points. So this game, not an upset. It's playing as expected to rankings. But, you know, these teams come in, right, Mimi, and they have calculated out these point margins that they have to attain in order to not slip in the rankings.
Canuck You Up is the jammer for Sioux City, and 98 pounds of steel is the Fort Collins skater, and 98 pounds of steel is our lead jammer as she makes it through the pack first.
Canuck You Up was laid out to the inside of the track, and that gave 98 pounds of steel just enough time to get out and get lead jammer.
PBR is recycling 98 pounds of steel. Canuck You Up working her way through the pack, but 98 pounds of steel is not having any of that. She calls off the jam.
1 point on the board for Fort Collins. 1 point is still a point. So some progress for Fort Collins here late in the game. They sit at 67 to 218 for Sioux City. 3 minutes now left on the play clock, so we are drawing to a close. Sioux City still trying to put a little extra insurance, not pulling any punches with these big jammer passes.
We've got double destruction for Fort Collins and Little Pacifist for Sioux City on the jammer line. Little Pacifist making her way through the Fort Collins jammers, pushing them, pushing Sugar Smacks, and away she goes.
Little Pacifist, anything but a pacifist on her way through the pack. She is quite aggressive as she shoves her way through those blockers.
She might be little, but she's not passive at all. Double destruction makes her way through the pack as well. Little Pacifist coming around and calls off the jam while she's falling down on her back.
Little Pacifist bounced off the backside of Princess of Wales. I have seen that happen before with my home league of New Hampshire, where one of our smaller skaters goes in for the big hit against one of our more solid skaters and bounces off. And that's what happened to Little Pacifist right there. Score check-in, 67 points for Fort Collins, 220 for Sioux City. We are down to 1 minute and 50 seconds. We are only going to have a jam or 2 left here in this game.
Mo-Payne and 98 pounds of steel are jammers. Mo-Payne takes absolutely no time at all to slice through the blockers of Fort Collins.
Skater Baiter was trying to give chase to Mo-Payne, but she got out front too far, got the out-of-play warning from the refs.
98 pounds of steel makes her way through the front of the pack, but Mo-Payne zips through for 4 points and is right on her tail. Pack getting ready for the jammers coming around. 98 pounds of steel working on Guillotina.
Mo-Payne content to run the clock out. It looks like she's going to let it skate. 4 more points for Sioux City.
Mo-Payne comes around and looks like Eat Schmitz is recycling 98 pounds of steel. Mo-Payne through the pack again for 5 points this time.
Mo Payne picking up the jammer lap point. She's sitting at 13 now in this jam. Play clock down to 42 seconds left.
98 pounds of steel taking on PBR. PBR gives her a big old smile. Working her way through.
PBR wins Miss Congeniality of Sioux City because I swear she flashes a big grin every time she passes the bench.
Mo Payne through the middle of the pack for 5 points this time around. 98 pounds of steel getting recycled by E. Schmitz. More points for Mo Payne, 5 points around the house.
23 now in this jam for Sioux City. They're trying to go out with a bang. 2, 1, 0 on the play clock. So we are now on jam time for a final 10 seconds. Mo Payne not letting up on the steam. That is another 5 points as she picks up the jammer lap point for 98 pounds of steel. And Sioux City has done it. Our unofficial final score, very few timeouts taken. Our unofficial final score, 67 points for Fort Collins, 248 for Sioux City. Only one timeout taken by Fort Collins in the entire game here. So congratulations to Sioux City. Skaters are going to come out and take their victory laps here in just a moment. So a game, again, played to rankings. Sioux City coming in at 99, the previous 2013 Mayday Mayhem champs. I think Fort Collins did a fantastic job holding their own against this team.
Very good through the first half. Sioux City kind of pulled away there in the second half, but through most of the first half there, Fort Collins did a fantastic job of holding Sioux City.
So I think we are going to have Sioux City skater PBR coming over for a brief interview here in just a moment after Sioux City takes their well-deserved victory lap. Again, I cannot say enough about Sioux City. The endurance of this team is remarkable. This is now 3 bouts, 2 yesterday, 4 bouts, 2 yesterday, 1 yesterday, 2 today. I can't do math. And they have just kept up the energy and kept up the enthusiasm for every single bout. They don't even look really tired at this point.
Well, maybe. maybe
a little bit. They hide it well. Fort Collins, though, what heart, just playing right through till the end, giving it everything they got.
PBR!
Just waiting on PBR to come visit with us a little bit.
Come show off your shiner. Come show off your shiner. All right. I really smell horrible. Thank you guys for all you did. Thank you.
That mic is live, by the way.
Oh, hi, Mom.
Hi, PBR.
Always thank your NSOs and referees, please. Hi, ladies.
Hi. So I am fantastic. Mimi, how are you?
I'm good.
All right, PBR. Wow. So tell us how you earned your badge of honor here.
I took a helmet in our last bout against Arc Valley. I was going this way jamming, she was going this way. And anyway, being 5'11" and then about 6'3" on my skates, I don't really get hit in the face too often, but it connected like right here. And I'm thankful I didn't break my nose. But yeah, instantaneously it was a marble in there and I thought I split it because I was like, wow, I shouldn't be able to see that already. But yeah, 6 years in roller derby and I finally get my first shiner.
So tell us about this game. You have blocked. You blocked a ton, or excuse me, you jammed a ton in this game. Tell us about your experience playing both sides of the coin. You're a very strong jammer, a very strong blocker. What's that like with Sioux City, the league? How does it shake out for you?
Well, I haven't been training as a jammer this season. I've been mainly focusing on my blocking. And, you know, it's a mental transition, but if you can block, you can jam. And I think that you should be able to practice and play as both. Whatever your league needs, you should be able to provide. Thus, yeah, they asked me to jam again, and I was like, all right, I'm going to do my best, you know. So
ready to take one for the team.
Yep.
So tell us, Sioux City's had some very convincing victories so far here at Mayday Mayhem. What do you think your keys to success have been so far?
We have great communication, but it's communication of just knowing how each other plays because we practice 2 times a week, and some of us practice more than 2 times a week together. So that's a nice thing that we already know what that other person's doing or how that they are blocking. we have seen a lot of these competitors before, so it's been kind of nice that, you know, hey, we kind of have an understanding of how they play. Some of them have really upped their game, so that's been really nice as far as on the competitive scale, because it's pushing us to be better. You know, there's been a couple games like our last one where we were behind by 40 points and then came out, you know, 30 ahead. So, but roller derby is always about growing. So
one last question for you, because we'll let you take your gear off and relax for a little bit.
So bad. So bad. I'm borrowing a shoulder strap from one of the corn stalkers, and he doesn't like to wear deodorant, so it smells real fine.
Okay, well, that's fun. So tell me a little bit. One of the things that I've been so impressed about with Sioux City is your incredible endurance, really as a team. What do you do? What is your secret to keep up your energy on now bout number 4 to just keep the intensity at the level that you have?
Well, coming into this tournament, we knew that our numbers were going to be low. We're only seated with 9 girls right now, and to a standard league, that would be very devastating. We took it as a, hey, I now work out every single day of the week. I now push myself to make up for the lack thereof. And so we rely on each other that they are also doing that. So everyone's just really up their game coming to this tournament. Obviously, there's elevation. I don't really find it to be anything hindering. I'm not a fast skater anyway. So
you could have fooled us.
Oh, well, thank you. But yeah, it's just basically of knowing what's up ahead of you and planning ahead for it. So we've been upping our practices, lots of endurance. I skate states as a hobby. That might have something to do with it. Yeah, I mean, we're just pretty energetic. I think we're fooling a lot of people with our endurance, but we did train real hard to be here. So
fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time, PBR. We'll let you relax and get ready for your next game. Signing off for this game, I'm Helen Carnate.
I'm Screamin' Mimi.
We'll see you back here on the track 1 for Colorado Sports TV.
Oh yeah, they would smell so bad.